Hello and welcome to the final project video for CIS 1350. In this video what we're going to talk about is your final project. Now you're going to end up building a website that has a minimum of 5 pages and a maximum of 8 pages. The content for the web pages is going to be basically your own decision. You need to adhere to keep the content needs to adhere to being respectful and professional looking, okay? So if you have any questions about the topic, such as, what the topic needs to be on, if you are having trouble figuring out what you would like the topic to be, I can provide you some examples. And then, of course, we also have some examples in the links of the website of the course, so that way you can get the ideas. So if you run into trouble, please let me know. Now, what I did is I printed off a couple pages, and I'm going to reference those because I wanted to make sure that we get the full coverage of everything that we need. You're going to be, you are free to ask your fellow peers. You may ask me if you run into any troubles in creating your pages. If you don't understand how to create something, say for instance, one of the requirements happens to be that you need to create input type text boxes. And so if you don't remember how to do that, by all means ask one of your peers. You can also ask me for that. Now remember, the intention of asking for that assistance is not to do the project for you, but instead what we'll be able to do is to guide you or steer you in the right location. So you may, from me, get a reference to a particular page in the book for you to go look at, or to, for instance, Google a specific item in order for you to look at, and that will help you create what it is that you're looking to do. The other thing that we want to make sure that we do is you will need to reference your rubrics. This is the rubrics that we created last class. Again, remember, we all discussed what type of criteria we would be assessing this website against. And so after everybody had put in their recommendations, we were able to come up with a rubric, and that is what we're going to be doing. And just for your reference, remember, the rubric is the paper that we did. It's a link on the actual file, so please go check that out again. We do have that for you to look at, okay? The other thing that the project will need to cover, and like I said, I did print out those requirements just to make sure that I did cover them all. Remember, 5 to 10 pages, at least 2-column layout. Again, it doesn't matter which page that those show up on, it's just that it has to be there someplace. You also have to have it be responsive. So when you resize the pages to a smaller size, then your content needs to resize also appropriately. You have to have at least one import rule. So you will also need to do CSS rules. So you will have to have a cascading style sheet. Remember, that allows you to actually have all of your content be the same type of font, also same size. That way you know that your images are located in the, are the right size, they're floating on the right or the left or in the middle of the page where they need to be at. Excuse me. You need to do at least one print CSS style also. So please, if you do not remember, go back into your book, take a look at that. And that will, I do believe that is page 355 is where you will find that. Your HTML pages must contain a head tag, a section tag, a side, an article, and a footer. Okay. You also need to make sure that you have a table someplace in your site. The table has to be at least 6 columns and 6 rows. Okay. The 2-column span, you have to have 2 row spans in there. And you also have to be able to use the thread, the T-body, and the T-foot. Remember, those are the special tags that you need when you're creating your table. Okay. You also have to have at least one embed tag. So what I would like you to do is to find an appropriate YouTube video. If you find another video someplace else that is free that you can actually incorporate into your site, that would be great. Also, remember, you can upload your videos to your OneDrives. You can store your files on any of the other storage sites that you may have, that as long as we can actually take a look at it when we look at your website, the link will work and you'll be able to see the site. Okay, so remember, at least one embed tag, which would be probably a YouTube video of some sort. Make sure that it's appropriate. You can obviously record your own YouTube video also and push it up there. You need to have paragraph tags. You need to have bulleted items. You need to have a ordered and unordered. Now remember, the ordered is the 1, 2, 3 ABC kind of a listing. The unordered are just basically bullets. They're squares. They could be any triangles or whatever it is that you need to have. You need to have images. Now obviously the images hopefully will be appropriately what your website's about. If you have trouble finding images, look on Google. Make sure that when you're looking for it, you do free images. The other thing is that if you find an image that you absolutely must have to have, check to see if it is copyrighted. If it is copyrighted, then there should be some place on that site where you found the image that you can actually email the web developer and or the website and actually ask permission to use that page, or that image. More than likely, they will tell you that for educational purposes, you're to use it one time. You must cite where you got it, and so you are able to actually do that when you're putting your code in. So there shouldn't be any issues with that. If for some reason you cannot absolutely get a response from the website, that image is imperative that you have for your website, please let me know, and then what I can do is we can look and see if there is a way that we can recreate it some other way, so that way you would be able to use it. But for the most part, I don't expect too many people having some trouble with it. You should be able to find an appropriate image that would be free, and you wouldn't have to worry about the copyright issue. Okay. Block quotes is another requirement that you would have to have. Obviously the CSS, I'm referencing it again. Font sizes, fonts, type colors. You also have to do sectors with multiple elements in them. So make sure that your CSS style has all those requirements on that. Let's see here. Anything else? Obviously, well organized file structure. You need to, again, CSS, images, consistency throughout the pages. So your header, your footer, your navigation, all look professional and are in a uniformed location. Please don't have your navigation at the very top of the page and then down on another page you have it at the very bottom. People would be scrolling up and down and looking all over the place on how to navigate your site. Okay. Let's see here. Suggested ideas. You could do possibly your school, sports. For instance, you're interested in football, soccer, you have a hobby, you like to cook, do a website on, for instance, recipes, how to cook something. Take some images of you actually cooking something. So it's an easy way of doing that. Anyways, you could do, businesses, restaurants, gift shops, special trips you've been on. So there's all kinds of stuff. So please make sure that you look at that requirement page. It is linked with inside of the project area, so you'll be able to see that. Okay. Let's see here. Again, remember that the site is purely up to you, whether what colors you use, where you locate various things. Let's see one other item. When you finish your website, please have one of your peers take a look at the site. You will want to have your peer member run through the site, give you some feedback. You will have 1 week based upon the feedback that they've given you to be able to make any corrections if you choose to before you'll have to turn that in. After you turn that in, then what I'll do is I'll go through and we'll grade it. I'll be able to go through and respond to you through the rubric. Once you turn the project in, the last thing that you will have to do is to complete a final project evaluation. Now, if you remember, last week we talked about doing the final project evaluations. We went through some questions. We all picked out some options that you guys were interested in reviewing. So anyways, I have put that paper together, so please take a look at that. That is also going to be linked in your your Dropbox area for you to actually fill out. And so what this is going to help any future class with their projects. So we'll be able to take a look at that, find out what worked, find out what didn't work. How can we change those items? So the feedback will be something that will be really helpful for future classes. Okay? So with that, please revisit this video as often as you'd like to make sure that you go through those requirements again. And good luck with your project. I look forward to hearing from you and also seeing your projects. Thank you.